Ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to imagine for a moment is that there's a war out there, right? There's a war. And this is sort of our moment to kind of come off the battlefield, re-energize, pray together, to go back out there. Because when we walk out these doors, we're going right back out into a battlefield. And that battlefield is hostile, dangerous, we're outnumbered. But what the other side doesn't have is our passion, right? They have a lot of paid walkers, a lot of paid people, a lot of union this, union that. God bless these poor young union students who have to end up paying dues and into these organizations that come after us as Republicans and conservatives. Just doesn't make much sense. So I just came off the battlefield. Literally just walked in here like all of you. And so here we are for a few moments of silence, camaraderie to refill. I want to introduce you in the back to Guillermo. Guillermo, can you raise your hand? Everybody give Guillermo a big round. He's our deputy campaign manager. Guillermo is bilingual, and he is a veteran of the U.S. Coast Guard. He sought out our campaign, and he has been such a tremendous asset to us. What the Democrats will portray us to be is these. This is what they'll do. Because I'm a white guy, they're going to come at me and try to scare the Latino community, the Hispanic community, and that I'm a racist to the women. They're going to try to make you think I'm a sexist. They're going to focus in on those two demographics to break apart, not to support my opponent, but to vote against me. We know this. We wrote an ebook that's going to come out in about a month called Dishonest, How Pete Aguilar Won the 31st Congressional District. It's already written in English. Guillermo just translated it in Spanish. And that book is going to go out free on cyberspace all across this district because we're fed up. Look, I got 4 kids. We teach our kids what? Don't get bullied, right? And we don't tolerate bullies in school, right? Well, it's no different in campaigning. We've been getting bullied and hit and harassed, and what we don't need are candidates who are going to simply back down to try to find some middle where they can only get bullied occasionally. There's no such thing as occasional, okay bullying. It's wrong, period, and we need to expose it for that. We need to call what they do bullying. We don't let kids get away with it. We shouldn't let adults get away with it either, which is why our campaign for Congress has been on the offense. And we're going to stay on the offense. We're going to continue to go at our opponent for his failed record, for making our communities more dangerous, for saying that ISIS is basically a JV team and we can defeat them with a few pinpoint airstrikes, with believing that global warming is the #1 national security threat, ladies and gentlemen. That is the kind of craziness that exists in Washington. And I want to tell you something else we need to target more in on, are the blue dog Democrats. Look, I'm not going to waste a day talking to a progressive. If they are a progressive today, after having seen everything, I'm not going to waste my time. They're out to lunch. Who I will spend my time with are the folks who've been registered Democrat most of their entire life. Why? Because when you sit down with them, deep down inside, they know something's wrong. These are your Kennedy generation Democrats. When you listen to JFK's inauguration speech, compare it to Barack Obama's, compare it to Nancy Pelosi's comments on the House floor, Harry Reid, these people are they're not of the caliber of the Democrat Party that we were fighting with even 20 years ago. Even Clinton is getting booed. President Bill Clinton is getting booed for calling out the honest response about the problems of drugs and gangs and crime in communities. You would think everybody would be behind that. Instead, they're demonizing segments. Let's address the real root cause of problems: drugs, gangs, crime. Look, in California, AB 109, Proposition 47, far left progressives, I'm not even saying they're Democrat ideas, they're far left progressive ideas. What has it done to our state? It made us much more dangerous. Violent crime is up from last year to this year Overall, 14%. And it's going to continue to rise. When we go and knock on these doors with the Blue Dog Democrats, I want you to ask them, do you feel safe? Are you concerned about not only national security, because God knows we know that's not a possibility. ISIS has gone from 15 to 30 countries. Right? We've got Russia flying bear bombers off our west coast. We've got them doing loops over our surveillance craft. We've got them within 75 feet striking down upon our ships in the sea. No respect. Would this have ever happened under Ronald Reagan?
Never.
So this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I'm upset with the Republican Party. And I'm a Republican, conservative. Why are we not telling the story loud and clear about where we are today? Our enemies don't fear us. Our allies don't trust us. Our streets are completely out of control. Nobody feels safe anymore. Blight and crime are everywhere. Our military has been reduced now to pre-World War II levels. And the enemy today of the progressives is not terrorists, it's our police officers. Shameful that we attack the men and women in blue for doing a dangerous job where it's a split instant of a decision. If they want to make robots and hire robots to go do the job, go for it. But until then, we have human beings, and absolutely human beings make mistakes. But to demonize an entire segment of the men and women who hold that thin blue line, let me tell you what, I've been in law enforcement 20 years. I don't want my 4 kids to go into law enforcement. God bless the men and women that are still holding that line, but the problem is today, I was in Missouri yesterday speaking to 600 police officers, just before I got up the governor's vote. They cannot recruit enough, they cannot retain enough of their men and women. So what does this create? This creates an environment where we as a Republican Party should be standing up loud and clear from telephone pole to telephone pole, telling the people why we are where we are today. It's because the leftists, they have taken over, destroyed the Democrat Party, which maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, we could have looked at some issues. I'll give you an idea. This is how radical today's Democrat Party has begun. The Democrats today, lock and step, voted basically against a bill that would have required life-saving measures for a baby born on an operating room table from a botched abortion. All of us say, look, there's a baby on the table, for crying out loud. Mom was going to abort it. I don't agree with that, but now you've got a live baby. Are you just going to sit there and hands off? That's what the Democrats and my opponents say, oh, well, it's a woman's choice. And they're using that as a wedge issue. We need to turn back because 86% of Americans want life-saving measures for that baby. I don't know who the hell those other 14% are, but I don't want them watching my kids. Right? So why are we not loud and clear on these issues? I tell you what, no matter who you're supporting in this election cycle, people are fed up. 22% of this congressional district is made up of declined state voters. It's the largest, it is the fastest growing voter bloc, state of California. Every 2 years, Democrats and Republicans each lose a point, they go into declining state. I don't like them. Who are they? They are the blue dog Democrats who are fed up and go, I don't know what the hell just happened to my party. And the Republicans who say, I don't know what the hell just happened to my party. And they go here, and they're very passionate. And we need to communicate with them. Because for the most part, they share the values that we do about keeping America strong, faith, family, community values. When you talk to parents and knock on their doors, most have kids in school. Ask the parents, do you know that today 1 out of every 5 kids in your public schools are using illicit drugs? 1 out of every 5. The highest rate it's ever been. Under this president, who basically looks the other way, in a state that, it boggles my mind, we reduced youth tobacco to astronomically low levels, but yet drug use is up to here. 1 out of every 5. That alone right there should encourage us, when we talk to parents, to get them on our side about these issues. So what do I need from you? We're coming off the battlefield, Guillermo and I. We're going back on the battlefield, as you are. After this, Guillermo and I are going to go canvass Redlands, putting up those big 4 foot by 4 foot signs. We were in Fontana and canvassed Fontana 4 days ago. We're up till 3 in the morning sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. You all know it. You're out there hitting doors. Yesterday we were in Upland. Oh, last night. Upland now taken care of. Tonight we're going to be in Rancho Cucamonga. But campaigns, ladies and gentlemen, run on money, and it's the worst part of politics. We talk about the funding that impacts political races. I think now that the average congressional race could cost $1 to $2 to $3 to $4 million, how does the ordinary average American ever run for office there? The system, ladies and gentlemen, is broken, but I can't fix it until I get in there. My progressive opponent, Democrat Pete Aguilar, sent an email out to all of his supporters telling them, I'm not going to take special interest money. I think we should do something about this. But when you look at his required FEC filing of where he got his money, $735,000 from special interest groups. Divide that by 5, that's about the max a special interest group can give you. That's a ton. So when I sat in with the editorial board of the Sun and Daily Bulletin 3 days ago to talk about my candidacy, I didn't talk about myself. I talked about what a sinister, evil, disgraceful, dishonest person that newspaper endorsed 2 years ago and didn't have the courage to expose his fraud and his failures of leadership. So it's on their desk, ladies and gentlemen. I showed him out. He's the number one recipient of marijuana money across all 435 members of Congress. The number one. Also, SEBA, Sheriff's Employee Benefit Association. I've been a reserve deputy 20 years. I couldn't even get an interview with the SEBA union. They endorsed Pete Aguilar, despite us telling him about what he's been doing. Supporting sanctuary cities makes it more dangerous for our cops. Taking drug money. But hats off to the San Bernardino Police Officers Association. They gave us their endorsement. They understand the nature of the work that I believe in, and that you don't simply endorse an incumbent just because they're an incumbent. Absolutely not. So I'm going to hand out some envelopes here, and I'd ask that you please consider making a donation of whatever you can into this. It will help us hit targets. I also brought a few bumper stickers as well for your cars. It's modeled after the Go Navy logo, so it's Go Chabot, which a volunteer built for us. But here's what, in the closing minute, let me just say what else we need. You know, we've raised now on our own close to about $350,000 with donors in 41 states, over 2,000 individual donors. It is the most exhausting part of the campaign. And for those of you that know our campaign, many of you here walk doors for us, you know how well we spend our money. We use it precisely on how we go after the voters to communicate with them, and we are an almost all volunteer-run organization, our Army. So for us to continue to hit doors, we need those resources. So what else do we need? Today we signed up 8 more people who volunteered to phone bank from home. If you want to phone bank from home, let me know. We will mail you a list and a script. And it takes a burden off of us, and it also saves money. We have 2 campaign headquarters. The closest one to you is other side of the freeway, Rancho Cucamonga. If you'd like to volunteer in the headquarters to make phone calls or whatever you can do, we would love that as well. If you happen to want to come out and precinct walk this weekend, we need you with us, whether it's for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 hours. We're meeting here at our headquarters again. It's right here on the corner of Victoria Park and Baseline in the little pizza mobile gas station shopping center. We're going to be meeting there at 10 a.m. We encourage you to come out and also bring friends with us. And if you can't walk on the weekends, if you want to walk your own precinct, or if you want to walk a precinct, you say, hey, Paul, give me a precinct, I'll go walk one for you. We will hand you a packet to go take care of. And lastly, and I'll work with your team here, is one of our biggest proposals of this race, we cover 9 cities, from Upland all the way out to Redlands, is to turn the old Norton Air Force Base back into a military base, but into a joint special operations base. Here's the reason why. Number one, we have to. Our military has been gutted. We're at pre-World War II levels amongst many branches. So what we are doing and what the proposal is because the Cold War is back with a vengeance, because China is expanding in the South Pacific fleet. North Korea is continuing to be crazy. Russia off our west coast. We have got to plus up our west coast defenses and capabilities. So what I want to do is bring a joint base, create a joint base in San Bernardino. It brings together all branches of service working together smarter. We save the taxpayer money because all branches are working together, sharing resources. We have 6 on the East Coast, only 1 on the West Coast. And that 1 is way up in the state of Washington. When we look at bringing something like that here to the Inland Empire, you want to talk about a shot in the arm that will fight back against this warehousing phenomenon that has just taken over this region, that will clean up the city and the region and bring 10,000 good paying jobs. We're going to talk about cybersecurity, getting our veterans employed, many of them don't have jobs, getting people who graduate from our local colleges into the job market here rather than going to Cal State San Bernardino and then moving far, far away for good paying jobs. This is part of our economic plan. And lastly, the crime. What I'm going to do when elected to Congress is I'm going to bring in the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. I'm going to have a set up shop right here in the Inland Empire, and we're going to target the high-level gang members who run these street gangs. And we're going to go after them with federal RICO acts, which could be 20 plus years in prison. And to me, when a gang member is caught with a gun, not a legal citizen for crying out loud, when a gang member is caught with a gun, I'd love to see a registered gang member doing 20 years federal time, not state or county. Because state or county, they're back out onto our streets. They know it's a game and they're harming us. If you watched the news yesterday in San Bernardino, another killing. Day before that, another killing. I think 22 or 23 killings in San Bernardino. This time last year, 14. But crime is up. Property crime is up in every single one of our cities. You probably know right now a neighbor, a friend, a colleague on a neighboring street who's had a car stolen or their home broken into. And if you haven't, just wait, because the odds are you will. In that closing, Guillermo and I are going to be leaving here shortly to go hit doors. Go ahead, hit doors. I'm not going to knock on doors this later. So put up big 4x4 foot signs. Please reach out to me. My phone number is on these sheets that you have in front of me. We need you and we appreciate you. We thank you to Kathy and everybody here who's already been doing such a phenomenal job. Good luck to you in your Senate race. You're going to rock it out. Great to have Dave precede me. Mr. Inland Empire here is an amazing guy, future mayor of Rialto. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you inviting me here. God bless.